Good morning folks, 21st Century Caveman here. Hope everybody's safe, hope everybody's well, and welcome to another video. So this will be the first video in a short series of about 6 or 7 videos where we have a look at a DIY campervan. So clearly you've tuned in today because you're interested in a campervan, or at least you're giving it some thought, but there are a few things holding you back. Now, the first big thing is the cost of buying one. Now, if you're considering buying a new one or a second-hand one, it won't take too much research to realise very quickly that these things ain't cheap. If you decide to go down the new route, you will need to fork out a pretty penny, and of course you're going to take the hit on depreciation as well. And even if you decide to go second hand, if you buy a used one, these are also very, very expensive. I mean, the past few years since the COVID period, the prices have gone through the roof, and the prices for most people are out of reach. And secondly, even if you try and save yourself a few grand by simply buying a van or a minibus or a large car, then you may not have the necessary DIY skills to convert the thing yourself. And the third thing is, of course, the fact that if you can't afford to buy one which is already done up, and you don't have the skills to do up something like a van or a minibus or a large car, then you certainly won't be able to afford to pay somebody to do the conversion for you. So in summary then, you do have some funds from your hard-earned savings to invest in your campervan, but you don't have enough money to buy one or convert one, and you certainly don't have the skills to do it yourself. So does that mean we're stumped? And the answer is definitely not. There is another option available, and this option gives rise to the concept of the none-build campervan. So in essence then, you're buying something like a van, a trailer or a minibus or a large car, as I've already said, and you're just going to kit it out with the stuff which you need, which is already purpose built. Obviously, all you need to do then is to secure it and then head off on your adventures. Now, for many people, this will of course be a very appealing option. Now, it may not represent the luxury or refinement of a coach-built campervan, but it doesn't mean to say that you have to live like an animal, does it? So your first steps then are to obviously purchase your van or your trailer, and secondly to consider what facilities you require in order to cover the essentials. And I think these can be conveniently summarised as the 6 S's, which I think for most people will represent the minimum requirements for a basic and comfortable campervan experience. So in my opinion then, the 6 campervan essentials, otherwise known as the 6 S's, are something to sit on, something to sit at, something to sleep in, something to make a slap-up meal, something to deal with your sewage or waste, and something for storage. And today we're going to have a look at something to sit at. Right folks, so we've got 2 offerings for you in this category today then, both of which are folding camping tables purchased in a sale from Go Outdoors here in the UK. The brand name for both is High Gear, and the one we're looking at the moment is the Richmond 6-foot folding camping table. Now this is a very strong, durable camping table. It can be used indoors or outdoors. It's certainly weather resistant. It's got a recycled tabletop and some strong folding legs underneath, and of course it's got the handle as well to enable you to transport the thing around. So there are a couple of locking rings which lock the legs into place, and there's also a locking mechanism underneath the tabletop on one side only. And from memory this can take a weight of about sort of 50 kilos, which is a decent amount. And as I say, it's 6 foot long, 2.5 feet wide. You can see the mechanism down there, look, which just keeps the tabletop from folding back on itself. So that's just clipped in one place. And we also have these steel rings which stop the legs from folding and collapsing the table. Now it must be said that the locking device, when you're actually, folding this thing up, the locking device isn't brilliant, although it does help if you remember to remove the handle. So if you pull the handle out, look, it gives you more of a chance basically. So there we go, look, pull the handle out and then try and squeeze the thing together. As I say, the clip for keeping the thing together, it's not brilliant, but it does suffice. I think you might just need to perhaps put a strap or something around it just to keep the thing together. Okay, so moving on to the second table then, which is also a folding camping table from High Gear. Now this is a really nice looking modern camping table, this one, and the nice dark matte tabletop contrasts nicely with the aluminium looking frame on the table. So this is a triple table then, and it's also available in double or single format. In other words, you'll either see 3 sections at the top, 2 or 1, depending on which version you go for. So as we can see, it's in 3 parts. It obviously folds and all of the legs lock into place. And also where the tabletop folds, you've got those 2 joints there, look, there are locking latches on each side, so it does keep it nice and stable and level. So again, the legs lock into place, and also there are locking catches basically for every folding section, as we can see here, look. So as you can see, look, you've got those latches there. Now they can be a little bit tight, you might need to give them a little bit of a push, but once you lock them into place, this is going to be very nice and stable. Now, the other good thing about this table, the thing which really appeals to me, is the fact that the legs are extendable. So the maximum height you can get this table is about 27.5 to 28 inches, which will be adequate for most people's needs. And it also goes lower than that as well. So this is a really nice looking table, isn't it? It looks nice and modern, as I say. And, this might be more convenient for yourselves. Now, as we can also see, this is a very practical and convenient table to use. It folds up really easily.
I'm going to the app.
But anyway, this is a nice little table look, and you know, for what I paid for it, it's an absolute bargain. And the other thing is, of course, if you buy something, it's always good if it's multi-purpose. So, for example, in this particular case, if I don't end up using this in my camper van, then I'm simply going to use it as a pasting table when I do my decorating. Anyway, look, thanks ever so much for dropping by again. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.